Florida. They're not happy with his policies about getting rid of all this nonsense out of schools. They want to keep it in there. But what's the update? Sarasota School Board had a 3-2 Liberal majority to
Greetings and welcome to the Talk to Me America show, where the world wants to know what you have to say. So call me later and tell them like it is. I'll let you know when to call. The number's down below, of course. Welcome to the show. It is Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Time for another Talk to Me America. I am Lord Goddess, your hostess. And we are brought to you by, of course, Here's What I Heard, the channel you're watching me on now. Thank you for clicking on my little acre of the internet today. Appreciate y'all being here. Looks like we got a couple of people already and You Tube. Great, great. Knowledge Seeker, Limited Access. Welcome, welcome to the show. And lots of people already over here on Odysee. Looks like everything is 5x5. All my meters are working properly, my mic and everything else so far. Of course, Windows hasn't updated anything, so nothing has changed. Fucking whatever. Anyway, let's see. Who do we have? Sparky the Welder. I'm your ninja. Welcome. Pastor Chatelet, as always. You might want to hang around. I have kind of a paragraph or two to talk about the pond. Toasty! Howdy, howdy. Welcome, welcome. Limited Access. Oh, you're on both of the channels. Okay, fantastic. Help me. Helping me get lots of numbers out there. Fantastic. DJ Brandrak, my rock star. How you doing? Thank you. MBB. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling a little bit today. I'm getting a little nervous. I've got a headache today. I don't know where it came from. Probably just eye strain. And of course, you guys know if you want to support and help me to grow, which MBB will tell you, I already need a new GPU. And of course, I'm still sitting on that old Bard stool. All my links are below. Bopper and Zom. Welcome, Zom. Zom and I had a real nice conversation the other day. I appreciate that. It was cool. Very cool. Nice to get to know all of you guys. Let's see. Yes, appreciate that. Boosting the content. Okay. Let's see. I've got a. You can buy me a coffee. I've got a PayPal link. If you're on Odysee, they have their own where you can do that. And I even have a P.O. box down there if you want to send me something. I don't suggest sending cash in the mail, but then again, there are ways you can do that. But I would like gifts. I like gifts. And of course, I love the blue blocker glasses. DJ Brandrag says, I need a new motherboard. Won't be streaming for another 2 weeks. Feel free to use my old replays in the meantime. Okay, thank you. Make sure that you still don't forget him and support him. And of course, I'm sure we'll see him in the pond as well. Let's see. Oh, okay, I'm going to make real quick plugs now. Oh, Mr. T, thank you. Yes, that's my CPU watching my broadcast. That's hilarious. It looks like in Tron. Oh. So everybody's watching my broadcast right now, hopefully. All right. I got notes. In fact, I wrote even more notes this time because when I feel like this, my brain just goes... This feels like it's running out of my ears. Anyway, I got a little story for you. And of course, this is based on the title of my show this week. Once upon a time, Johnny graduated from high school and takes out a loan for $50,000 to start his plumbing company. He buys plenty of expensive tools, a work truck, and learns a trade. On the other hand, Chris graduates from high school and chooses to take out a loan for $50,000 to go to college and study liberal arts. And of course, we all know what liberal arts end up being these days. Okay, and then John works for 5 years to build and pay for his investment, while Chris graduates from college with a debt he cannot afford to pay off. Chris gets his debt forgiven by Joe Biden. John's taxes go up to pay for Chris's unpaid debts, and then John gets audited by one of the 87,000 new IRS agents and has to prove that his truck and his tools are actual work expenses. Buddy, can you spare 10 grand? Well, as we know, Rougarou and Sai and One Faux Hammer, welcome. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you, Rougarou. Rougarou is the man with the plan. If you go to his channel, he has a schedule for all of the people that do the creating and shows throughout the week in our little network that we have here. Yes, I agree, DJ Brandrak. Hopefully we'll get some people in there that will actually do something about it, but I'll believe those things when I see them. Anyways, our grandpa-in-chief finally went and kept one of his campaign promises, but only after telling us that he couldn't, once they got him in there and made everybody mad at him about it. or at least the left is the left's anyone the left on that side doing that or wanting to get free stuff, and only after realizing that his side right now is losing bigly. In fact, I believe Nancy Pelosi actually talked about this earlier when he wanted to when he promised this before. I'll let you hear what she had to say about it.
People think that the President of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress. And I don't even like to call it forgiveness, because that implies a transgression. It's not to be forgiven. Just freeing people from those obligations. So the question of who gets forgiven, to use the term of art that is out there, is a debate. Do we use whatever money there is for the broadest base of support of those with more people with even less debt, or
Bullshit.
Fewer people with more debt? That's a policy discussion. But the difference between the president can't do it, so that's not even a discussion. Not everybody realizes that, but the president can only postpone, delay, but not forgive.
Evidently, even the president doesn't realize that now. But if you have been paying attention to the midterms and the primaries, the midterm primaries, you kind of get an idea for why this is happening now. Sure, it's perfect timing that right after a bunch of Florida school boards turned red, that the administration all of a sudden comes up with this wonderfully generous offer to students who can actually afford to pay their loans back. They should be anyway. I guess all that matters, though, to this administration is their worthless degrees. This administration is literally trying to bribe college-age voters for a measly $10,000 off of up to $300,000 for college tuition. And, of course, that's your doctors, your lawyers, things like that, people that have to stay in school for longer than 4 years or whatever. But they're giving even more money to people who didn't take loans out. Make it make sense. But ain't that just like the government? Spend millions and millions of dollars that ain't theirs and just pay you back a measly few hundred and make it sound like as if that they're giving you the biggest favor on the planet. Ugh. Then, of course, they turn around when it doesn't work out. They blame someone else for the shortages while they're continuing to perpetrate those shortages. Can we say vicious cycle? I think it's too late. Let's see. No one in power seems to know how to add or subtract anymore. Or maybe they know how to too well. You know, they subtract from our pockets as they're adding to theirs and their cronies. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, they're talking about let's say, I'm Your Ninja says, we should do Neil Bortz's plan, the fair tax, and eliminate the IRS completely. Yeah, it's starting to worry me that they're starting to arm a bunch of them, too. Still have a lot of questions about that. I'm Your Ninja says, it's a flat tax, yes, but I'm pretty sure it's called the fair tax. He wrote a book on it. Okay, I'll have to look at that. Limited Access says, they charged me 150% interest on my 9K student loan, and I still owe them even though I paid it back and I'm disabled. Yeah, that's terrible. Basically, in fact, I think somebody, I forget who it was today, but they mentioned this as well, stating that they knew a person that took out a $30,000 loan, paid $50,000 for it, and still owe $20,000. $70,000 for a $30,000 loan that you may or may not be able to pay off. And a lot of it has to do with the interest. Even if you don't pay it, the interest just keeps compounding and compounding and compounding and compounding, and it's not really a good rate. Or mine wasn't anyway. Luckily mine got paid off. I'm not real sure how, though. Let's see. Flat is the only thing I will ever call fair-ish. Yeah, flat tax based on your income, but then again, you got, you know, you try to make it easier too. That was one of the things that Trump had promised. You file your taxes on a little 9x5 card or something like that, based on your income. But of course, all of these people have put all these laws in effect, and it's very complicated, and you got to have a specialist to take care of it. And they may or may not get you all your deductions. And of course, the richer you are, the more deductions you seem to be able to get, or the more money you seem to be able to hide. So yeah, there's that. I guess the more money you have, the more money you're able to pay somebody to hide it for you, or to make sure that you keep more of it. Beast usury system. Yes, that's it, Pastor Chatelet. And they entrap everybody in it more and more and more and more every day. But I'll tell you what, if this is what you get for your education, everyone deserves a full fucking refund. Let me show you this mess.
Are y'all playing with me right now? I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Do you know what country Hawaii is in?
Hawaii is a country, right? Yeah.
Yes. No, like, do you know what country it's in?
Hawaii is a town? Like, I thought the whole state of Hawaii was... Wait, what the fuck? Is Hawaii a state or a country? Hawaii...
It's a state. It's a state.
Hawaii's a state?
Yeah, so what country is it in?
What? Hawaii's a country? Are y'all playing with me right now? I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. Sir.
Do you know who the current vice president is? No. Do you know what we call a shape that has 5 sides?
A hexagon? No?
Yes. Do you know what country Hawaii is in? Yeah. Do you
Don't
know?
ask me nothing stupid. I don't play no games now. I'm 67 years old. Don't play with me. So you might well turn that shit right off. You gonna ask me something stupid. If you think you're gonna clown me, your ass gonna be in trouble.
Do you know what 2 countries border the U.S.?
What's he holding on
What 2
to
countries
down
border
there?
the U.S.? What's like the country above us and below us?
South America, North America.
Yes. Do you know how long each president serves their term?
6 years, but they can go for 12. Depends, like, if people re-elect them.
Yes. Do you know what 77 plus 23 is?
And that's the next show in 2 days.
Around what number? Give me a number.
I'm trying to think. It's like... I don't know. 121?
Yes. Do you know what 2 countries border the U.S.?
So, yeah. If this is what we get for our education, everyone deserves a refund right now. I'll tell you what, though. What can I tell you? This guy goes around, I guess his name is Justin Awad, and he goes around and asks all these questions. Now, of course, I didn't see the 67-year-old, but yeah, I was going to say, people my age are like, they'll be happy to answer those questions, but don't be stupid with me. And of course, that guy wasn't taking no shit. He didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear it. And you know, I can remember a time when folks would be proud to know and answer those questions correctly. In fact, I can remember when I was a kid, and even when I was a teenager, that kids were proud of answering those questions. They couldn't wait to answer those kinds of questions to show how much they knew about the country. Show how much they knew. Show how smart they were. Whew, my brain's got my tongue in a knot here. Let's see. Technically also Russia. Oh yeah, that's right. Kane got screwed. Let's see. One Phil Hammer says, my sister stayed in college for 15 years. Over $150,000 in loans, and I know she's cheering today. Shaking my head. Entitled scammers with gender degrees. 150 grand. 10 grand is a spit in the ocean compared to 150 grand. So, I know it's going to help a little bit, but it's like having a 10-cent coupon on $100, in my opinion. So, White Wings, hello, hello, welcome to the show. Let's see if we've got anybody else here. Let's see, YouTube. Knowledge Seeker says, College tends to be a scam. Trade school or taking courses online to gain the knowledge necessary via various open source sites is a preferred method. Just take classes you need, nothing else. Yeah, I agree with that too. I never could figure out some of the shit that they would tell you in college. But after I got out of college, my basic theory on that was that's 4 years. They basically give you 4 years of bullshit to see if you can put up with the bullshit that you're going to have to put up with when you go into the workforce, basically. And it literally is, majority of it, bullshit. I mean, I literally passed all my English papers and compositions on everything writing about Frank Zappa, of all people. So, yeah. Knowledge Seeker says, correction! That is their mind, so our education has deliberately dumbed us down, yet those young people have a tool they use daily to learn those basic questions. I don't think they've ever been told that you can look that shit up there. In fact, you literally almost have to hold these kids' hands with everything nowadays. You know, hand them an old telephone or hand them an old tape recorder or something like that. They don't even try to figure it out. So, yeah, I agree. Let's see. I'm your ninja. Can't stand with that guy that says yes to them when they're wrong. Well, I don't know. He's not there to teach them anything, I think. He's there to show us how stupid we've been, or how stupid we're getting. I guess if he told them no, or if he tried to argue with them or something like that, it might not make the same video. Mark Dice does the same thing. And like I say, I don't think it's basically to teach these people anything. It's basically to do videos to show us what we're up against. Let's see. Lord Slade, how art thou? Welcome to the show. Let's see. Bring back the gold standard. I agree. Sparky, Russia is only about a mile away from Alaska. Yeah, but they don't really border us, do they? I think he meant Canada or Mexico, because they're actually attached. The northern no. Oh, listen to me now. I'm not going to go there. Lord Slade says, "Hey, Zappa is worth writing a paper about." Yeah, I passed all of my classes, all my English classes, writing about Zappa. I even passed some of my communications classes. This is actually the place where I learned how to switch and run a TV show and do all this other stuff, direct and produce stuff. So that was actually kind of useful. Except the technology wasn't quite there yet. The technology now is better as far as that goes. Yeah, White Wing says he's just there to expose the stupid. Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost a moot point to even try to talk to these people about that kind of thing. I mean, you saw that one girl, oh, Hawaii is a state? No, Hawaii is not a state. He tried to correct one person and she didn't. So yeah, that took longer than just showing us. Feisty Ace! I like that meme. Thank you. My hair is crazy today. My hair is crazy all the time. In fact, I think that's my reminder from God that I don't have control over everything. Or can't have control over everything. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I ran all the bases, did I? Let's see. All right. One thing that I do know, you know who actually can answer those questions, a lot of those questions these days? Legal immigrants. Or should I say, naturalized citizens. They literally have to learn them in order to even take the oath. And I've talked to some of them, and you've seen some interviews with some of them too, where they're extremely proud to know these things, and they're kind of disappointed that the people that they're joining don't. So, hell, I finally went back to school and got my 4-year degree in IT. Finished it at 40, and do you know, to this day, I still have not been able to even get an interview in my field. It's no wonder these gender and racial studies folks can't get any kind of work either, other than like a barista. These places won't even hire someone with the proper schooling and experience. So I don't know who gets these IT jobs. I've actually been working with computers since 84, 85, and with all my experience and education, I still can't get a tech job. no one would even look at my resume. I think it has a lot to do with my age, of course. So it's so funny, too, because I had a sort of apprentice-type job while I actually was in IT school and going for it. So go figure. So, it's like Knowledge Seeker basically said, they even lie to you. The education system lies to you about getting a better life and making more money if you get a degree in something. And they actually will tell you you can do that if you get a degree in anything. At least I picked something that I knew that was going to be a future in and tried to learn how to work and build and everything, computers and stuff like that, which we're all going to need and all have to need in the future. So, of course, so as you can see, I basically said, fuck it, and started my own business. Several, in fact. Hasn't made me rich, but I don't have to go begging some company to let me make them rich. Or richer. And I'm still managed to feed myself every once in a while. And, of course, from all the support and love that I get from everyone here, that helps out quite a bit. Of course, that's actually going to be how you guys help me grow. That's the only thing. I'm not going for any sponsorships or anything like that. Thank you, thank you. I love my hair too. It's gone from red to gray. Salt and pepper. I had red hair for a while there. Auburn. Let's see. I'm free as well, right, guys? Jamal. Oh, that's funny. I'm not an immigrant, but my great granddaddy was. Actually, my great grandmother was. No, actually, maybe my great. I think my great grandmother was, but they actually ended up bringing a lot of people over here with them too. So from Germany. Limited access. I wasn't able to finish my certificate because I refused to pay for a CAD class that was using a system that was so outdated that it would have been useless, and refused to pay for a study credit. Yeah, some schools are like that, and of course they're usually the ones that are always talking about they not have enough money. They get more money than anybody else, but they don't spend it where they're supposed to. It all goes into the pockets of either the politicians or the people running the school, the administration. My dad actually worked for University of Houston for a long time, and it seemed like he was the AV instructor, but he was also history professor. And it seemed like the audio visual department was always like an afterthought, because his budget would always go down and down and down. He could never afford anything. He couldn't even get anything fixed half the time. He was having to either do it himself, or you just couldn't use it. It was out of commission. Bopper. Oh, you're welcome. I read it. Yes, I try to keep up with the chat. Of course, sometimes like 451 Actual. Of course, you know his shows are on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time. I get into a little rant, or I get into a focus here, and then I don't forget about the chat, but I don't read it until some of it's gone already. So please forgive me for that. It is not easy. It is skewed toward foreign bourgeoisie. Yeah, I can remember some of the stories. In fact, you know that most people don't know this, but a lot of the projects that are like now Section 8 housing and things like that, those places actually used to be housing for immigrants coming in to become American citizens. They would stay there while they would come here, and they would be placed there in these places until they were either able to take their tests or whatever like that, and things like that, and of course get jobs and all of that. So yeah, a lot of people don't know about that. That's something I learned not too long ago, and it was like, that's very interesting. And the government still owns all that property. Instead of using it for immigrants now, though, they use it for Section 8 housing. MBB says, if you have the money, you can just buy your way in. Oh, I'm sure. I don't think that's how it happened for my grandparents, though. Great-grandparents. Old Salty Dog, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Charlie has a strong dislike for illegals no matter what country they come from. He earned his way, so should they. Indeed. Indeed, especially with what they're doing now. They're basically just inviting them in, and you see what's coming in. It actually... well, I was going to say, if these people are so downtrodden, I'd like to know where they get all the new clothes and the new shoes and the phones and all of that. It's like, you come in from a third world country. You had cell phone access there? Stuff like that. So, and of course, they also had the, what was it, the chain? One person gets in and then they can sponsor all their family members and bring everybody from their sisters to their cousins to their dog sitters in the country. All right. Anyway, there are actual supporters of this executive order. We've already been told that he's not really allowed to do this. I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping, that Congress will go because Nancy Pelosi didn't seem too happy about the fact that he thought that he could do it in the first place, and she told us with uncertainty, or with the certainty, that he can't do this. He can postpone and he can do other things, but he cannot. He's overstepping his boundaries there, and like I say, somebody should step in. There are some people, there are some of the talking heads that we listen to that think that this is going to get overturned. It's not going to go through anything. So let's hope so. Bopper says $1,200 iPhones are poverty now. Pfft, I wish. I don't know for who, but I sure the hell can't afford an iPhone. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Making sure I'm catching all of the chats. Okay. Great, great. And once again, welcome to the show. If you've just joined us, you're on the Talk to Me America show, where the world wants to know what you have to say. So call me in a few minutes. I'll tell you when. And tell them like it is. All right. Okay. Now, this is something that a man on the street type of thing in New York about this. And these people actually support this. Listen to this.
I got a job and I paid them off. What's the rush? I mean, the APR is low on the interest rates, right? So you're not really paying that much.
Inflation comes, inflation goes. It's not abnormal. It's happened many, many times before, and we'll get through it.
The rich nation. Why can't we educate our young? Why can't we foot that bill? There's so many people with more money than they will ever spend in their lifetime.
I say if you take out a loan, you should pay it off. I don't rely on the government to pay my debts, so I don't think the government should pay student loan debts either. Take out a loan, you go to school, you pay it off, just like everybody else did.
For us, there's positive because we have kids and they have student loans that we help them pay. But I do worry about the overall state of the economy.
I think it's outrageous that so many young people have to pay back crazy amounts of money, especially with interest.
I think that most Americans would believe that helping in some way, shape, or form is the right thing to do.
Regardless of whether you benefit from it or not, it's just showing people some help during a hard recession that we're coming across.
So yeah, most people are okay with it. The first two guys were like, yeah, nah. But most people are okay with this student loan thing going through, in New York anyway. I guess they don't realize that this money actually comes out of their own pockets as well, or maybe it doesn't. I tend to find that people that don't spend their own money don't mind spending money, and they don't mind how much they spend. They also don't seem to realize that this is a bribe to get their votes. Although listening to them talk, they don't seem to have needed a bribe to vote for this mashed potato. Makes me wonder, though, is New York even being affected by this redefined recession? Let's see what you guys got to say. Bopper55 says, I still have the first Moto G I bought for $100 back when it was top of the line. Yeah, I still have mine pretty, let's see, I haven't had mine. I've got a Moto 7, G7, and I think I've had it for 3 years now. And before that, my dad gave me an iPhone, and I used that for almost 10 years. The only reason why I couldn't use it anymore is because, well, like I say, they didn't keep it anymore. I think it was an iPhone 4 or something like that. And when I went to change the service on it, because when I moved, the service that I had was bad, they wouldn't let me. We can't use that phone anymore. They don't support that phone anymore. So had to get the Moto G thing. It works pretty well. Pastor, why are you putting naughty photos on here? At least it's blocked out. Okay. Let's see. Well, I'll tell you what. If they think it's so great, and if anyone in the United States also agrees with this latest bribe, that probably won't save them from losing control anyway, nor will it probably make a dent in anyone's school loans if you're even able to get it in the first place, unless it's anything like the tax credits for the electric vehicles. I say let them pay for it. I volunteer you to take on this one and run with it. I volunteer you. Actually, our Grandpa-in-Chief has already authorized your involvement in this endeavor, so be my guest. Just to be clear, though, you're paying the bills for the top 20% of the richest students in the United States and possibly around the world. Except for the ones that he's paying that have Pell Grants. That still doesn't make any sense to me. If you took out a loan, you get $10,000, but if you didn't take out any loans, you got freebies, you get $20,000. How in the fuck does that work? Somebody tell me. Somebody make that make sense. Dream Demon, welcome to the show. Chief Shitoshi, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Pastor Satellite, that's our sponsor. Who's our sponsor? We are our sponsors. Let's see. And yeah, a lot of these, I was going to say also too, a lot of these folks wouldn't even be able to go to college without having that kind of money. I mean, Yale, Princeton, all these other places. So yeah, also, expect your tuition to rise again, because every time the government bails somebody out, once again, the EV cars, I can go back to that as well, they raise it. They raise the prices for it. And like I said before, when folks, especially establishments, don't spend their own money, they don't care how much they spend. They don't give a shit how much they spend. That's somebody else's money. They'll take more and more and more of it. And actually, even if things are paid off, they'll still tell you they need more and more and more. So, yes, it is ass-backwards math. It definitely is, White Wings. That's why I say I don't understand it, and there's a lot of people asking questions. I've heard even the left is not happy with this. No worries, sweet Rosa. We're still here for another hour and a half. So being late's okay. And you can always watch the stream later. I always post this stuff afterwards. Of course, don't forget, support the channel if you can. All of my links are below. I even got a P.O. box if you want to send me a goodie. You don't have to send me cash. I like gifts. I like glasses. Hint, 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 hint. Okay. Now, I don't think this is going to offend any of my followers, but this might actually offend some people. But don't let it. It's hilarious. Time for some levity.
How to name your Asian baby? King song ding dong.
How to name your Australian baby?
Roy, crikey, mate.
How to name your Indian baby?
How to...
This guy actually has a whole TikTok full of different ways to name your baby. German and Japan and Asian and Chinese and Vietnamese and all the different Asians and everything. I thought that was pretty funny. Don't let that offend you though, because believe it or not, that's the first one is an old joke. All right, I'm going to open the phone lines now. If you want to call me, of course, the number to dial is 409-877-1243. And while I'm opening the phone lines, I saw this meme, and it made me want to take a few minutes to talk about the pond. First, I'll read you the meme in case you can't see it. I don't know if some people it's not big enough for their phones and whatever like that. But it says, if you aren't learning something new on social media each day, you're following the wrong pages. If the conversation with your friends aren't leaving you in deep thought, you're surrounding yourself with the wrong people. Like I said, I saw this meme and it made me want to talk a few minutes about the pond and what it means to me. Like I said, the phone lines are open if you have anything to say as far as this goes. And this is kind of a long rant, but I didn't want to miss out on anything. Of course, I'm talking about Pastor Chatelet's pond on Odysee. When I first started doing videos, I feel that I was moved to do so for several reasons. Main one, of course, as you know, being the utter and blatant censorship that was starting to happen when essentially Obama was elected. How dare anyone question having an opposing opinion or a position or a question about anything regarding this historic president's speech, policies, or even his lifestyle. Of course, we all know the history of censorship since then. When the shit hit the fan for me was during the COOF scare of 2020. I already had an idea that I wanted to do something like this, but you know how hard it is to really execute an idea that may change your entire life. I also knew how much work it would be to try and start another completely foreign to me project, other than knowing how to use a computer, of course. I also saw what was happening to others, some of my inspirations that dared to speak out against or even question the establishment and their families. But I also have so many ideas for creative projects that I have to pick and choose carefully and do my best to stay focused on them, or else I will never get anything done. I've got 10,000 unfinished projects laying around here as it is. And I even have some in my files on the computer. I'll start something and it's like, Yes, feisty ace, that is a fact. I guess you could say that's the brain of an artist. I have a lot of ideas, and every time I start working on one, I get 10,000 more ideas for other stuff too. So it is hard to concentrate sometimes in my position. However, in the midst of all the censorship, especially on platforms like YouTube and Facebook, I was compelled enough actually to make sure that I have at least one backup. And of course, that was BitChute at the time. I don't even think Rumble or Odysee was a thing yet. And if it was really brand new and I may not have even heard about it. But I started using them not long after they came to my knowledge. 451 Actual, welcome, my metal man. I was just talking about him. He's the dude that does the radio shows, the Big Dick Energy Brigade, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time. You get one of these. Thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate that. See what he did there? Everybody do that. if you can. If you can. All right. What really pushed me over the edge, though, and when I started feeling really called to do this, was when I had my heart attack. And I had it a mere 2 weeks into the lockdowns and this whole situation that was going on with COOF. It was literally a setback, actually, before I'd even gotten started. But surviving that gave me a sense that I was actually preserved to go ahead with this endeavor. It was as if God wasn't finished with me here yet. A kind of, okay, I gave you a second chance at life. Let's see what you do with it kind of thing. And seeing what I saw at the time and hearing that no one was allowed to question or even seek anything other than what the government was telling us to do about COOF, with the exception of the president, of course, at the time, pushed me also to make the changes in my life that I needed to make in order to start doing these videos with the eventual goal of my live call-in talk show, which you're on now, that ensured that I like to make sure that ensures everyone's freedom of speech. I can and could see the things that were happening to the average citizen of the world at this point, but of course I can only speak for the United States. But these things are actually happening and affecting folks like you and me. But I was beginning to realize that us little guys seem to be and have been silenced for many years now. Or that censorship has just been happening so slowly that no one ever really noticed until they just started flat out banning folks like Alex Jones, 45, Laura Loomer, those people. And of course, on top of that, they gave them and listed them as dangerous. That's actually become another buzzword, if you will. It's sad, too, because when there actually is danger, people aren't going to realize it. Well, now, I guess I started to notice changes in language with the mentally disabled. It was something that a situation that we worked for. We were IT people there. All of a sudden, you weren't allowed to use terms like retard or geek or spaz. Even if you were talking to your best friends and just fucking around, like guys will do. That is stifling speech. And of course, they used to just ask you politely, could you please use this word instead of that word for these things? Or, we prefer not to use those words in our home. Would you use this instead? Which is, I guess, okay. How can you not oblige when someone is nicely... when someone asks you nicely to respect their preferences? I mean, you would expect the same in return, of course. But now, you say anything that someone deems offensive, even without your knowledge, and you get screamed at, and called names, and ridiculed, and demoralized, and attacked, and even canceled. You may not have even offended the person that your comment might have been directed towards. Isn't it weird sometimes, and quite intrusive, that when some freak comes out of the woodwork and interrupts your train of thought with some virtual signaling bullshit on someone else's behalf? Like this conversation was between A and B. See your way out of it. And I'll bet you any amount of money that those are the same people that if you were to do the same thing to them or call them out on something like that, they'd be the first people to tell you to mind your own business. But don't get me distracted on that. Basically, essentially, they want to take away everything from you while stepping on your neck. I'm Your Ninja says, so quick research. Pell Grant doesn't seem to be racially motivated, at least not to the extent of food stamps. No, it never has been. Not that I know of anyway. I actually tried out for a Pell Grant, and at the time I was married, and he made just a little bit too much money. I wasn't eligible for that. Yep, those who trade freedom for security. Let me go on here. The average person's trials and tribulations seem to mean more money for the establishment and the elite. So you don't actually think that they're going after their own kind now, do you? Especially after the last 2.5 years? Of course not. And of course, they've been preaching this fair share bullshit for decades now. All right? But it seems to me that all the same people, aside from a few, are still the richest and most profitable on earth. At least 40 years later, as far as I can remember. And I'm sure that, I was going to say, in fact, I think that that kind of thing started with the 60s. Eat the rich and all that shit. Alright, so, all the while, they keep handing us the same line about, you'll get your fair share after this election. We promise. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I feel that I was called to do this and was prepared to do it on my own. By myself. Then I discovered Salty. He wasn't actually suggested to me by any of the algorithms, though. His army actually infiltrated almost every live feed I would watch. ABL, Gothics, even Tim Pool, and even some of the left. If I watch TYT and who's the other one that I like? Jimmy Dore. Salty Army has infiltrated just about every well-known creator that I watch it or have known of. In fact, they even go to Jericho Green and that other guy, the twins or whatever they are, the two twins. So at first I thought that I was led to his channel to learn from him how to be successful on the video platforms. His style was very engaging, and his business acumen seemed impeccable. And I'm a little bit jealous about the fact that his spouse works right by his side. Now, don't get me wrong, my husband does support me in any way that he can, and he helps to get me the electronics and the sound and stuff. But I have yet to talk him into being on the show or even in a Jitsi chat. So, still working on that there. Yes, we are Legion limited access. I'm finding that out more and more. Onto my point, though. Little did I know that Salty was meant to lead me to another such place, in which was a total surprise. A support system of sorts and a network of people to actually help me not only be successful at this endeavor of content creator, but to support me when my success seemed to be at its lowest point and I sometimes feel like quitting. Also, a support system placed in front of me by God to remind me and assure me that I'm not alone on this endeavor of freedom. Being a part of the pond has also shown me that my calling was not just some gut feeling. But I can see now that I was being led by the Spirit of Christ to endeavor my content creation with plenty of help along the way. And all I remember ever asking for was I making the right decision to become a content creator for the freedom of speech. I can even remember praying and asking if I was doing the right thing, but I never expected an answer like this. All I did was venture on what I felt was a righteous path, and God seems to have taken over from there. Which I'm thankful for as well, because literally have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I still don't. So with that, I just wanted to first and foremost thank God for his guidance, and then thank the pond, Pastor Chatelet, and all the salty berserkers that gather, fellowship, meme, and network. I literally feel at home and protected and very blessed. And this is coming from someone that's always been somewhat of a loner. I've never ever felt the need to be a part of or actively try to be a part of either a clique or a group. And actually that's one of the things I like about this group as well. They don't force me to be around all the time. I can have my own thoughts. I mean, it's really freeing, but it's also comforting as well. I hope I'm getting this across as heartfelt as I actually do feel. Let's see, where was I? Well, okay, as you know, I can adapt to just about any situation, people-wise, but I'm actually quite introverted, believe it or not, and I've never felt the need to be in any kind of a group or a clique. I really have always been kind of a loner. This whole situation was a complete and utter surprise to me, because in the world, especially the music world where I come from, it's dog eat dog. And no one networks or encourages others unless there's something in it for them. Even the open mics, I don't know if anybody's a musician and has done any open mics, but even the open mics around here are considered auditions for the venues that host them. Basically, it's the way to get into the door and be able to do actual paid shows in most cases. Also, even as a small time as us indies are, most of us still try to follow the big timers in the trends, and especially the ideals and even the political agendas. And if you don't think the same, etc., and etc., and etc., you do end up being alone there too. So, which has never been a problem to me, of course. So thanks once again to the pond and to the pastor, which I feel has not only helped in my success so far, but for bringing me closer to God and showing me that he really has been with me and there for me the whole time. I totally never expected to be included or accepted in a totally awesome and righteous group of people. And I'm a loss for words. It's so overwhelming but so peaceful and helpful and like I say, we all getting close to God. I appreciate that. Thank you, 451 Actual. Let's see. Pastor Chatelet, we love you, Laura friend. Thank you. I love you all too. Lizzie Longtoes. Do you know, Lizzie, you actually are kind of famous to me because unless you're not the same one that Salty Cracker calls out all the time. I always thought that was a really cool name, but it gives me a really, really strange picture in my head as well. Pastor Chatelet says, I paid her to say all of this. Come on. No, you didn't. Thank you, White Wings. I appreciate you thinking that I'm awesome. Wheel of Shekels. Yeah, that's cute, Pastor. You actually wouldn't have to pay me for this. This literally, like I said, I'm hoping that this little diatribe, because I wrote it down and I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any of it, comes from the heart, and it does. In fact, I teared up a little bit in some of the little paragraphs that I was writing too. It's like, oh, I can't do that on camera. 451 Actual. Thank you. I'm the bomb. Kaboom. Yes, Psychological Operations, or Psy as I call him, says, this community is totally unique and totally awesome. We are so meanses, bro. Why, bro? Yeah, we're not meanses. I don't think we're meanses. Sparky the Welder says, I am also a loner. Friend around and find out. Old Salty Dog. Yes, I like that. Lizzie Longtoes. So you are the same one that Salty calls out all the time? You're a celebrity to me, in my opinion. He loves you. He really does love you. I can tell he loves you by the way he talks and calls you out and everything like that too. Let's see. How can they not realize that what occurred in a town where two migrant gangs fought each other on the streets with 4-foot machetes is exactly welcoming rafts of them to it in is go be? How can they? Knowledge Seeker says, how can they not realize what occurred in a town where two migrant... Are you talking about, Oh, okay. Relaxing, learning patience all over again as trying to educate Brits on their invasion, as most accept rafts coming across with 50+ men. Oh, yeah. A lot of Hodge twins. Thank you, sweet Rosa. Yep, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. All right, here's another funny clip. Trying to keep it light today, especially since I got a headache today. Let's see. This is hilarious. This is from a TikTok, and he's got a couple of cute jokes, but he always has Mike Tyson watching the video. Can I make this any bigger? No, I can't really make it any bigger. Hopefully you can see this. This is hilarious, though. No sound. One more time. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Let's see. Feisty Ace says, actually, yeah, this community is absolutely amazing. The insane support everyone gives one another is such a blessing. Common goal of bettering humanity and stomping pedos. Yes, I agree. It's a little bit more than that to me, though, too. I mean, we seem to be doing the righteous thing and everything like that, but it's also just, it's really hard to describe. It's almost kind of sort of like, and I don't really want to say it this way because I know that heaven is going to be way more grandiose and everything like that, but it's almost kind of like a little piece of heaven on earth. Lizzie Longtoast says, I have no contents, or I might make videos too. Oh, okay. Yeah, Sparky the Welder. Keep up the truth speaking. I got a dip early. New job early in the morning. Oh, okay. Well, good luck with that. You pay him to kick? Okay. All right. Oh, sorry, Sweet Rosa. There wasn't any sound to that video. Actually, it was, the sound was actually just somebody giggling in the background. So, all right. I got something else for y'all, too, that you guys will appreciate. This has sound. This is, well, I thought at first, I had to do a little research on it and everything like that, but I thought at first, this is the politician we really need.
In a world torn apart by choices, an underdog emerged. A man that nobody expected to come from behind. A man who was hard on crime, stiff to his opponents, and firm in his position. America needs dicks and butts. In a world torn apart by choices, an underdog emerged. A man that nobody expected to come from behind. A man who was hard on crime, stiff to his opponents, and firm in his position. America needs dicks and butts.
Now, unfortunately, this is a spoof. He actually did go viral for this. It's fucking hilarious. But it is a spoof. But can you imagine? Can you imagine if this guy was for real? I'll read you the debunk here. Dicks and butts, U.S. politicians' crude adverts turn out to be the work of a TikTok prankster. Excuse me. The crazy candidates dished up by American politics often make Australia's political efforts as benign as Feet's cake stall. Enter dicks and butts. Get it? A politician running for his local seat of Gilbert in Arizona in America's Southwest. Candidate Butts has even started running his own ads on social media, yet alas, the whole thing has been revealed as a riotous spoof of U.S. election advertising and online prank. In the TikTok video, the voiceover reads, Gilbert needs dicks and butts, loyal, hardworking, a man of the people, not a politician. I'm Dicks and Butts and I approve this message. Sadly, Butts' actual identity has not been revealed, but whoever it is, they have a pretty good sense of humor. Check out some of Dicks and Butts' work below.
Gilbert needs dicks and butts. Loyal. Hard-working. A man of the people.
Hey, you! Right back at you, buddy.
Not a politician.
I'm Dicks and Butts, and I approve this message.
Oh, that's funny. That is so funny. He's on YouTube. He's also got a Twitter as well. So yeah, go check out Dicks and Butts. His shit is hilarious. Alrighty. I'm gonna do a plug here for Red Dawn Radio. He put this out the other day. Come on. Loading.
What's going on, gorillas? Making this video because, as you can probably see by the thumbnail, I'm coming up to 2,000 subs. And when I get 2,000 subs, I'm going to throw a party. And I wanted to kind of just do like this is like an unofficial, like, hey, get ready, I'm going to do some fun shit. And then I'll do an official save the date type shit, and then we'll throw a motherfucking jam. I'm going to try to invite a bunch of people there. I'm going to invite the Salt King and the Salt Queen, see if they'll show up. I'm going to invite some of the people. I'm going to reach out to the staff at Odysee, because I'm going to plug Odysee way hard. Obviously, the whole thing is 2,000 subs on Odysee. Try to get their eyes in there. So keep your motherfucking nonsense to a minimum, all right? Don't let me invite these people and then you fuckers get me kicked off the platform because you're just too wild. The reason I'm putting this out, though, is because I'm going to do some fun shit. I got some games that might be fun for us to play. We'll get the Jitsi chat rolling. I'm going to raffle off some T-shirts. But what I want to do is I want to have a competition. And it's going to be one person or one video per person submitting a funny video. Not a funny compilation video, but you get one funny ass video. and we'll all vote on it. And if you win, I'll give you a free hoodie. So, like I said, 1 video per person. Try to keep the video short. Don't be like, well, I submitted Dave Chappelle's fucking stand-up. Like, obviously, you know what I'm asking for. And we'll do some funny shit like that. Yeah, it should be a good time. Just trying to get people hyped up for it. But yeah, be looking out for a video. Try to scour the internet. Get a free, not going to cost you nothing. Get a free hoodie out of the deal. So that's why I'm pushing this out a little early. Give you guys time to research. If someone else posts your video before you, it's their video, son. Nothing I can do about that. So yeah, so it's a bit. So you might want to have a few videos in your back pocket. And we'll all vote on it. I'm sure it'll be a total shit show. But it should be a good time anyway. Probably it'll be one of them edible nights. So I can see what happens. All right, guys. I'll see you Sunday. Peace.
Okay. Now, I know, is there a deadline for this? Because I'm actually seeing that he's already got 2,010 followers. And I'm sure it's because of the fact that people have been sharing this video. I know 451 Actual did, and I just did now too. Now, I thought when I first saw this on 451 Actual's show, I actually thought that the video would be a job for Vincenzo. Vincenzo Marinara. But he seems to want videos from other folks, like if people have already, you find a funny video and you submit it. We'll see, actually. I would rather do my own. I see that he's already, like I say, I see he has already got over 2,000 followers on Odysee. So Vincenzo actually may not be available on such notice. Does anybody know? No announcement yet. Okay, so he does it. There's no deadline for this because I am actually working all weekend this weekend. I work tomorrow and Saturday, and of course Sunday I work at church. So my first opportunity to actually even record what I wanted to record would not be till Monday. And then, of course, God only knows how long it's going to take me to edit it. I've already written the script, though. I've got something kind of funny in mind. It's actually about him. In a way, it's a roast, but not quite. It'll be a surprise. But if you guys want me to do Vincenzo, that's fine. If that's okay. I don't really want to search the internet. I've got my own idea. So, and I actually hope that I'll be able to do something like this when I get that many subs. So, help me out here. Share, 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 of course. All right. Let's see. Oh, I see Fudd is here. And the Drunken Rocky. Actually, speaking of the Drunken Rocky, he usually does his show right after I'm finished with my show on Thursday nights. But because of personal something, or he's got company or something, he's actually going to do his show Friday night after Salty. So make sure that you go and check out the White Pill on the Drunken Rocky show. Oh, Rocky. On Friday night this week instead of Thursday night. Pastor Shadley says, you faggots cannot out-meme me. Okay. I've never tried. I just do, me, I just do my own thing. Okay, 451 Actual says, you're making a vid from scratch? Okay, I guess that's cool. I hope that's what he will accept. Most of us are pretty fucking funny, though. Go with my flow. Okay, I think I'll do that. All right. Like I say, I've already written the script, but I'm not going to be able to record it and edit it until Monday. So, but if there's no announcement yet, somebody please let me know what the deadline is on that so that I can make sure to get it done. You're welcome, Drunken Rocky. Oh, Rocky. All right, I'm going to tell you now, don't let anybody ever tell you that one person cannot change a system. Unfortunately, in this case, it isn't one of the best things I've heard happen, and I know that others in this realm don't appreciate it either. But transgenderism is now considered a disability under the Americans with Disability Act. Get out the way. The Western Journal. Actually, I didn't find a whole lot of articles about this. Federal appeals court rules transgenderism is protected as a disability. Federal court has ruled that the transgender people are protected from discrimination under the Americans with Disabilities Act. On Tuesday, in a major opinion from the 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals of the Fourth Circuit, the court ruled that in light of the basic promise of equality that animates the ADA, we see no legitimate reason why Congress would intend to exclude from the ADA's protections transgender people who suffer from gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is defined as by the American Psychiatric Association as a clinically significant distress or impairment related to gender incongruence, which may include desire to change primary or secondary sex characteristics. It used to be considered a mental illness. This new ruling from the Fourth Circuit Appeals Court stems from a lawsuit in 2020 that was filed for Kesha Williams, a transgender inmate who was put in a Virginia men's prison even though he had received hormone replacement therapy for about 20 years, The Hill reported. How long a video did he want? He didn't want anything real long. I think mine's probably going to be about 30 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, maybe to a minute. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want anything past 5 minutes. Like he said, don't send him the Dave Chappelle show or a compilation. Just send him one funny video. It could probably be a few seconds. In fact, you could probably go through if you wanted to make one yourself. I don't know, how long you'd want to take on it, but if you just submit one that maybe nobody's seen, or go through, you can go through TikTok. TikTok got a million of them. You can probably submit to him. So anyway, Williams was first incarcerated with women at the Fairfax County Adult Detention Center, but was then moved to the men's facility after informing a nurse that he was transgender but had not had gender-affirming genital surgery. After Williams was placed with the men, male inmates and deputies harassed Williams. Williams eventually sued Fairfax County Sheriff Stacy Kincaid along with a prison nurse and deputy after being released from prison in 2019. So he wasn't even in prison anymore, but he went back and sued them anyway. Williams alleged that the prison had violated the ADA and the Rehabilitation Act by not treating his gender dysphoria. Was he diagnosed? If he wasn't officially diagnosed, then they don't have any authority to do that. The sheriff's office responded to Williams' complaint by arguing that gender dysphoria is not a disability under the ADA, but rather it is an identity disorder not resulting from physical impairments, The Hill reported. Exactly. In fact, the ADA, as it was first adopted in 1990, specifically stated that gender identity disorder could not be identified or defined as a disability. The definition section of the ADA specifically states that under this chapter, the term disability shall not include transvestism, transsexualism, pedophilia, exhibitionism, voyeurism, gender identity disorders not resulting from physical impairments, or other sexual behavior disorders. I'm not sure, but I think it was covered under something else. Maybe not. I don't know. At first, a district court dismissed Williams' case on the basis that the ADA excluded gender identity disorders not resulting from physical impairments from the protection of the law. But then Williams appealed and argued that the language excluding gender dysphoria in the 1990 ADA was outdated and undefined, CNN reported. The appeals court then reversed the lower court's dismissal, citing an updated medical understanding. Crucial advances in medical understanding led the American Psychiatric Association in 2013 to remove gender identity disorders from the most recent DSM, 5th edition. The DSM-5 and the appeals court noted the decision. In the very fact of revision suggests the meaningful difference and the contrast between the definitions of two terms, gender identity disorder and gender dysphoria. Confirms that these revisions are not just semantic. Indeed, the definitions of gender dysphoria differs dramatically from that of the now rejected diagnosis of gender identity disorder, the ruling added. Thus, the appeals court on Tuesday ruled in disagreement with the original stipulations of the 1990 ADA. So does that mean that the ADA now has to change all of this stuff? I don't know. Can I get me a wig and some lipstick and high heels, and can I get more reparations too? Hey. Yeah. Well, you actually, I guess if you do that or you identify, you're eligible to apply for disability now. I'm not sure about that, but I actually have talked to someone. I don't see them here at the moment, but I actually have talked to someone, and they are not happy with this decision. They don't want to be considered disabled. It's something completely different. The issue of how to treat transgender inmates and where to place them has been a focus of trans advocacy groups. Gee, I wonder why. There have been calls for reform in anti-discrimination laws, CNN reported. I want to say, first of all, if you're in jail, you're not entitled to not be harassed and all this other stuff. You're in jail being punished for something. Okay? They don't have to do anything. Basically, when you're in jail for stuff like that, you basically are losing your rights. That's what happens. All right. Don't forget, this is a call-in talk show. The phone lines are open if you'd like to talk to me or say anything about what I've said so far or anything else that's going on in the world. So, the ruling from the court on Tuesday is being hailed as a win for transgenders. Shannon Minter, legal director of the National Center for Lesbian Rights, said that the decision sets a powerful precedent that will be important for other courts considering this critical issue, CNN reported. I'm curious, what do lesbians have to do with transgenders? In fact, most lesbians don't want transgenders such as Mr. Williams. I agree. Lizzie Longtoes says, someone will be suing saying they are being discriminated because they aren't included. They will be trying to change it. Yes. Well, like I say, this just one person changed the entire meaning and the entire ability to be considered disabled now. And they're now, not only are they protected like they were before, but now they're even more protected. All right, a phone call. You're on the air.
Hi, it's Hallie. Hi, I'm calling from work right now.
Hiya, Hallie.
Hi, how you doing? Hi. Yeah, you were just about to say, I think before I got off, what you see, lesbians, are they truly in alliance with this group of, because they've done so much to eliminate the status and identity of women.
Yes.
That, do you see them, do you foresee them complaining or anything? Or maybe distancing themselves in the end from that whole movement.
Do you by any chance watch Ariella Scarcelli?
I think I may have once or twice, but it's a YouTuber, right?
Yeah, she's one of the ones that I watch.
What? Yeah, there's so many now. I just don't even. I can sit all day and watch them, But what did he say about it?
Well, Ariella is a lesbian, and she actually is on there. Yeah. She's actually
sorry.
That's okay. She actually has been canceled and being accused of being a TERF, which is a trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Yeah.
And basically she says
I don't like
that
radical feminists.
Right. Well, basically she says that because of the fact, like I say, they're calling her that, but she's a lesbian. She's not interested in penis. And she feels like she's being forced to try and date these transgender females that haven't even had bottom surgery or anything like that. And it's like she got on there, she says, they're telling me, suck the girl dick or else. And she's like, no.
Oh, please.
And she's like, no, I'm a lesbian. I don't want to do anything with any dick.
Yeah, we're not attracted to male, male genitalia at all, or really in the male form. I find those people so creepy. Ugh, So I saw you. So, where I work, we have to. I don't know. One of the classes, sociology. I don't know if it's psychology. We may have to buy the book from the library that how to, about a transgender child. I'm going that, that to me is like a form of abuse. I I think these people just have crazy parents. I know I mentioned it to you last week. Just their environments just maybe extremely eccentric parents. I'm of the opinion that not everybody should have kids, but it's just, I don't know what they've gotten so vocal. I don't know what. I just, why isn't anybody doing anything? I was actually going to call to ask you to change the subject. Just your opinion. I think I have to get away from that whole LGBT alphabet thing right now. I'm going to really throw up. It's nauseating. But what did you think, by the way, the whole thing about the forgiveness, the loan forgiveness?
Oh, I actually started the show with that.
Get into the middle of the show.
Yeah, I actually started the show with that.
Because I work with. Yeah.
Short and sweet. It's just a bribe because they're losing so badly right now, and if it's done right, it will get overturned.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings. I mean, I understand. Somebody I work with, one of our new workers, he told me how, he hasn't really held a regular job or done. He just started working for us full time, but he said that his student debts have been, he owed $7,000, so his loan now has just been forgiven. I'm wondering, is he even going to stay with us? Because it was a loan. I remember years ago when I was facing bankruptcy. That's what galvanized me to go out and work. Not only work, but clean up my act in a certain way.
Right.
And I'm wondering, I think that I'm still convinced these people, they'll say, it's because of the recession and then the pandemic, and they don't have the money, the inflation. It's different when the older generation was in college. But I was thinking that California, as nutty as the state is, I think they have a program for people leaving medical school where they can work for the government and then, pay off their loans that way. Also, in that way, they gain, experience. Why don't these people, why aren't there those kind of opportunities? I get the feeling that these people don't even want to work. I think that they want the loans forgiven because obviously you don't have debts. You don't have that. You don't have to worry about paying off a loan. So it's less incentive to go to work. I think that this is going to have horrible ramifications because I think the work ethic has already been corroded because of COVID.
Right.
We have a hard time finding people to hire or to keep. They don't. But I think if they have no incentive, if you don't. I don't wish dead on anyone. I understand some people. There might be factors beyond their control, and maybe they're not able to work. I suffered over the COVID thing because I lost part of my freelance, but thank God it's coming back. And I have to spend nights doing my side hustle as well as my regular job. I miss the time for fun things. You are my fun thing.
Oh, well,
I can sit here while I do my, but I'm going. I had to work. I'm just. Do you foresee people just not even bothering to either go to work or stay at a job? I'm just thinking the effect. Some people felt, well, they were so crippled by debt that they couldn't even move. Maybe it was so I'm thinking of a no-win situation. Many years ago, I had a roommate who incredibly stupid. She was one of those who went to grad school and dropped out because she couldn't handle the pressure. She ended up owing money. And then she called me one night frantically. The collections agency was after this. I can tell you right now, I know I should be wearing a kick me sign. But, I had just received my loan, my tax refund. I was really excited. And she calls me frantically that can I pay the collections agency for her? She'll pay me back. But, she was, so I'm going, well, I've got the choice, if I don't help her, she's not going to pay she's going to default on the rent. So either way, I'm screwed. So I went ahead and paid the collections agency. And she did. She was very honorable. She did pay me back, albeit slowly.
Well, that was nice of you.
She did pay, but when I later told, she was a decent person, but she just made a lot of stupid choices, just like I did in life about certain things. But but the point I'm saying is that I was in a no-win situation. Either if I don't pay the collection for helper, then I don't get rent. Either way, maybe the government, is that their rationale? These people are not able to move forward in life unless this will help them to get it, to...
Nah, it's never that.
To move on, and maybe...
It's never that.
Yeah, I don't...
Like I say, my thoughts on it is because of the fact... I mean, how convenient that they come up with this a day after so many Florida school boards turn red.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's a good turn. Ironically, it'll just make the blue people bluer, but I think a lot of people, I think the purple people are really going to, maybe they'll be purple with rage, but I think, I'm wondering if this will turn them more red, or you realize this is not, we're picking up the tab, the working people. So maybe this will boomerang. I don't know.
Let me ask you real quick.
I know that there are a lot of stipulations.
Go ahead.
Sure.
I was just going to ask you real quick. You were talking about this young gentleman that's working for you that may not stay with you after he gets his $7,000 paid for. Is he even eligible for it? See, this is the question. Are people even going to be eligible for it, or is it going to be just like this deal with the EVs, the tax credits on the EVs? And of course, you know damn well the minute they give anybody any kind of bailout, they're going to raise their prices on tuition too. So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The whole thing is a farce, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, he's a sweet guy. Don't get me wrong. I think but I'm just wondering. Or anybody else for that matter. I don't know. He told me though he didn't. He's taking advantage of it, but he's actually very conservative. I think his values. He's a religious guy. He's very, very sweet, innocent. He said he'll take advantage of it if it's offered to him. But he said he doesn't feel proud of it. So that's sort of good. I mean, look, they need the money, and if it's a chance to pay off. But I don't know in his future. Would he consider? Will he in the end? Will he stay with us? He talked about wanting to go back and get some cerebral degree, but that remains. Again, some people need it. I had a friend who had to go on Section 8 to get an apartment, or even like she didn't really have much income to begin with, but she said she felt like she sullied her principles. She was very, very pro-Trump and everything. But my feeling like that, when you need it, you need it. I mean, I don't, if somebody really needed a leg up, but is it going to help them in the end to change their behavior? My feeling of God gives you this thing in life which settle your debts are clear. I'm going to run, will it teach you something? So that would remain to be seen. People are going to say, well, in the future, I'm going to get look for a more practical major. Okay, I'm the one with the kick me sign, so you're talking the real, yes, I'm naive.
Yeah. Now, I do know that there's some people out there that will actually take advantage of whatever the government gives away no matter what, because they feel that they're taking back their own money, which actually they are, if you think about it.
Yeah. Well, I don't say if you're entitled. I mean, I don't know. It's just not something I again, it's available to take advantage, but if you're using it for something good in the end, like you just want to, maybe it does help you to further your career or what, I have no problem with that. It's the ones that I know are going to just wait for more handouts.
I'm just wondering how much control the government's going to take over that too, because that shit ain't never free. I don't care how much they give you; it's never free. They always find a way to take it back from you immediately. Almost, or with higher taxes or raising the inflation. So it's never free.
Yeah, that's why I even explained to this guy. Yeah, never free. I even explained it to a roommate of mine. She talked about socialized medicine. Oh, it's free. I go, no, it's not. We're paying for it. Not to mention that it stinks. My father, who was a physician, used to advocate socialized medicine until he had to actually practice it. He said people want coach fare and first class service. So I've seen the same thing. I've seen the same thing with education. I'm wondering if this, government paying for. They'll compare it to Europe, but they'll talk about Europe, and I'll say Europe is very elitist. Only a few people go to college, so maybe the government can afford to do that. They can't do that here. Now they're clearing there's billions of dollars. Anyway, listen, I better get back to work. But,
okay.
I enjoy your insights. I appreciate it. Really. I just don't know if I can listen anymore to that track.
I'm going to move on after this. I've got a couple more good news and a couple more funny things to put up also as well. But thank you so much for calling.
Yeah. My pleasure. Yeah. All right, back to the salt mines here. See, I'm working because I got I have bills to pay.
Okay. Well, don't work too hard now.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Good night.
No, I definitely won't. Bye. Good night.
Good night. All right. Shout out to the caller. She actually calls me almost every week. She also calls into the ABL show as well. And very, very insightful. She's from New York. So it takes all kinds, and I appreciate the fact I would take phone calls from around the world. If you guys want to call me, that's fine. That's fantastic. And it makes me feel good that actually somebody actually is participating in my idea. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. There was quite a bit of quote or comments going on. Lizzie Longtoes says someone will be suing, saying they are being discriminated because they aren't included. They will be trying to change it. Yes, of course. Well, like I say, this one person that was not even really discriminated against in jail, just harassed because of it, got this law changed. Basically, got the inclusion on the ADA. So yeah, we have a big group of people. So don't ever tell me that we're not effective, because I believe that we are, and I think that we can be. Let's see. Klinger from MASH would be really happy. No, he wouldn't. He was actually doing that to be able to get out of the military. Now that they accept it, they would keep him. He wouldn't have any chance at all. He would have to act even crazier, or maybe shoot himself or injure himself to get out at that point. So he might be happy about the fact that he'd be able to dress up and do that kind of thing. But I don't think he was doing that because that's how he was. He was doing that because he didn't want to be there. Somebody gave me a slime. Oh well, I love my haters as well as I love my lovers. Sometimes I know you guys do that just to fuck with people too, so I'm not worried about it. Put it this way, if I get more slimes than I get fire, then I might worry about it. But then I might actually worry about that I might be getting ready to be attacked as well, so I don't know. Let's see. Old Salty Dog says, Clown World. Yes, that's what they're doing to us. We need to reset this gender ideology stuff. Yeah, not necessarily reset it, just make it real. In fact, they're literally trying to make the exceptions the rule. You can tell that by the fact that they call people, that they call their alternatives gender normative or heteronormative. And actually, that's because it is normal. That's that's what's happened, other than like what, 1 or 2% of the population, maybe 3 now. That's how the world has gotten such a huge population as it has. I think the unfortunate thing about a lot of these people is they're literally not breeding themselves out of existence. In fact, you heard about some of the people. There was a thing that was going on after Roe v. Wade got overturned, that men and women alike were going and get tubal ligotomies and tubes tied and stuff like that. And the men were getting, I forget what that's called, went right out of my head. But yeah, they were going out and it's like, well, I'm not. And the thing about it is that's what we wanted in the first place. That is birth control, not abortion. Okay, so it's so funny how things work out like that, isn't it? It really is. That's true. There are no jobs for gender studies or art appreciation unless you want to be a barista. Of course, the world needs baristas too. We need janitors. In fact, we need we need more of the blue collar workers. That's the jobs that nobody wants to do. Although I think that these jobs that people do want to do, but they're being given to people that don't belong here. Let's see. MBB says, it causes so much anxiety to feel trapped like a rat in a bucket. Yeah, it does. But you can make decisions, and there are actually places and people out there that will help you to get out of debt. They found that most times people are in debt because they just spend and spend and spend and spend and spend. And actually now, from what I can tell, it's even easier to get into debt without you even knowing that you're in that kind of debt, because everything's automatic. Everything's auto pay. You get a subscription here and you get a subscription there. Oh, it's only $5 a month here, only $5 a month there, or $5 a week here. That shit adds up. Eventually, you can go bankrupt if you've got enough of those subscriptions. In fact, I think that's what they're trying to do with some of these streaming services now. They've basically taken all of these things apart from like the cable systems and the satellite systems and everything like that, where everything was all together and you could get packages. Now it's all individual. You have to pay each one some kind of subscription. You now have all of the mainstream medias have all done this, now doing the streaming subscriptions. You actually have all the alts like Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder and even Tim Pool now, they all have these subscriptions and everything like that. And a majority of them are auto pay. In fact, there's several things that you can't even get without agreeing to auto pay, and that shit adds up. So nobody's being taught how to manage their money, and they're managing it so poorly that a lot of times they're making payments on shit they don't even remember they've subscribed to it. I know that, believe it or not, my mom got into that situation. She started doing the auto pay on the credit cards and the auto pay. Oh, do this auto pay, do this auto pay. And she was having trouble keeping track of when the auto pay was going through, and she started bouncing checks and stuff. And my mom makes plenty of money. She was an engineer at SAP for a long time. So, yeah. Let's see. Down tooths are just jizz stains. Someone liked it too much. That's a good way to look at it, MBB. That's a real good way to look at it. Ski Man, how are you doing over here on YouTube? Got some more people on YouTube. Hallie is a sweetheart and very practical. Good evening. And chat. Yes, she is. I love her to death. Were you thinking of the word vasectomy? Yes, I was. I'm sorry. I brain fart. What can I tell you? 'Cause I'm a blonde. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, actually, it's more probably because I'm getting old. All right. Let's see. Buying votes. Yes, of course. Buying votes for, like I say, this $10,000 and $20,000 refund or tax break or whatever it is they're doing with the school and everything like that is definitely trying to buy votes. And like I say, how convenient that it happened, that this thing came out like right after a lot of these primaries and a lot of these school boards went red. Let's see. That's what Schwab and his precious want. People are useless to them, supposedly. Yeah? Well, not useless, just controllable. And also expendable, as far as that goes. Let's see. MBB says, there's no getting out of it now. With inflation, all savings are getting wiped. All the debt I worked hard to pay back, and even worse, just to pay the bills. Yeah. Let's see. Idle hands. I'm a big believer in that. Always got to keep busy. Yes, tuna. Salty tuna. And thank you for the follow. Ski Man says, budgeting is the key to living within your means. Yeah, and the unfortunate part is that whenever they do something like this, you have to rearrange your budget sometimes. I know there's quite a few things that I've been going without lately. Of course, some of them you can't get right now. But also, too, they're so expensive that I wouldn't buy them now anyway. I forgot that was back there. My old man's getting me some coffee, as he always does. He's great. Still wish I could talk him into joining the show, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, Old Salty Dog says, college is going to go up by whatever they give you, just like the electric cars went up after the rebates. Here's the funniest part about the rebate part. Nobody's eligible for them. no one is eligible for the rebates. Yet. Okay, yes, vasectomy. What do you call a Mexican with a vasectomy? A dry Martinez. That's cute. Thank you, Lizzie Longtoes, for the library coin. Old Salty Dog says, not when you owe 250 G's for that education to be something you could have been out of high school with the debt-free. Yeah, it's true. That is true. And, you know, like I say, I actually finally went and finished college myself because my parents kept bugging me about, you got to go to college, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. Although I was always doing pretty well. I paid my bills and everything like that. I didn't actually have a college degree. I did have a high school diploma. It didn't actually keep me. In fact, I've had a harder time trying to find a job after I got my degree than before I got it. And I went finally get the degree because of the fact that I was finally convinced that it was going to make me more money. Which, no, it didn't and hasn't so far. So, and they're still talking to my nephews that are just now starting to getting ready to graduate high school and everything like that. Got to go to college, got to go to college, got to go to college. If you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or something to that aspect, yeah, I would say, yeah, go to college. And actually, my husband's an engineer, and he told me that they didn't teach him anything in college that was actually of practical use. The only reason he needed the education or wanted the education himself was because of the fact that he knew that if he ever had to stop doing what he was doing or couldn't find a job doing what he was doing, he would be able to teach. That's literally the only reason he went to school. And he said that with his experience in electrical engineer, they didn't teach you the practical stuff. In fact, half of the stuff they taught him were not true. But the teachers would have to say, oh, well, I have to teach them this way so that they don't ruin the equipment or so they don't do this or they don't do that. It's like, why don't you teach them how to not ruin the equipment? Don't lie to them because they're going to try it out anyway. And they have. And the thing about it was some of the stuff that he was talking about that would ruin the equipment was a lie. If you touch these certain things together and stuff like that, it was a lie. That was a lie too. It wasn't the case. So we're literally paying these professors, these tenured professors now, to lie to us, to teach us nothing, to teach us bullshit. Limited Access says, salty tuna is shorn to be wild. That's true. Okay. All right, some good news. Let's see. Oh, I got about 20 more minutes here. Huge win! Which I don't understand why we needed a law for this to begin with, because this is constitutional, but passing of In God We Trust Act allows Texas schools to display the biblical motto and encourage the values associated with it. I see we're going full circle. Hopefully it'll stay this way. I'll read this little thing for you. Texas public schools now allow In God We Trust if the sign or displays are donated or purchased. The law applies to K through 12 and public higher education. Carroll Independent School District has already begun hanging the signs on campus grounds. Texas-based Christian service provider Patriot Mobile provides the signs for the northern Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. Is anybody here on Patriot Mobile? I've heard about it quite a bit, but I also know that all of the cellular and everything like that, they're all leased off of one company's towers and stuff like that. So I don't know how much better that's going to be. Write required books that cost big dollars for your course, more grift. Yeah, actually, I had a couple of teachers that actually did write the textbooks for the classes when I was in college. Now, one of them was fantastic. That was our Psych 101 class, but it was actually a sex ed class. And this guy was amazing. However, I actually was able to teach him something, but I won't talk about it here. It's a little dirty. It's a lot dirty, actually. Patriot Mobile posted on Facebook. Patriot Mobile has donated frame posters to many other school districts in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we will continue to do so until all schools in the area receive them. We are honored to be a part of bringing God back to our public schools, which actually, to be honest with you, if anybody needs Jesus, it's these people in these public schools, including the staff. Texas Senator Brian Hughes tweeted, as the author of the In God We Trust Act, I am encouraged to see groups like Patriot Mobile coming forward to donate these framed prints to remind future generations of Texans and our national motto. A spokesperson for Keller Independent School District, Bryce Neiman, said that donated signs will be placed mainly in the front offices. Parents seem to encourage the new measure from the Texas legislature. I would venture they would have had to have voted for it if that was the case and the law was passed. So yes, it's important to communities. The community will come behind it. Parent Eric Least said, if it's not something that the community values, it's not gonna end up in the school, which is the way it should be. These teachers, in fact, I was watching Odin's Men earlier this afternoon, and he had on a bunch of teachers that think they are the arbitrators of everything. This one lady literally came out and said that screw what the parents want. It's not up to them. Who died and left you in charge of these people? And she justified it with the excuse with, I love these kids just like as if they were my own and all of that. No, you don't have any right to be teaching these kids that kind of personal stuff. That is totally up to the parents. I don't care if you think that these kids are going to be insensitive or if they're not learning the proper whatever. It's not your job. But this is something that actually I think comes from the fact that we've heroized a lot of these teachers, and now they just think that their shit doesn't stink. While the teachers that actually did do good and were doing the right jobs and everything like that have all been fired or have had to quit because they can't take the shit anymore, or because they refuse to teach some of the crapola that the school boards want them to teach, that the parents literally haven't had any say-so in up until just recently. And of course, the minute the parents stepped in, the government tried to deem them as some kind of terrorists, which is actually becoming another buzzword, another bullshit buzzword. When the actual true terrorists come around, we're not going to know what the fuck to do. Let's see. Lizzie Longtoes says, I worked for a professor who worked at MSU who did that. Yeah, that's what I say. In fact, my husband told me that he would stay after class. The real smart ones, the ones that actually needed the practical and knew what was going on. Because he'd actually been in the business of doing electronics and had licenses in the state for a really long time before he even went back to school. So he really knew all of this stuff to begin with. Practical application. So he told me, he said he would actually stay after class and go to private meetings and sessions with the teachers and stuff like that to actually talk about the practical and the reality stuff. And he would ask the teacher, why do you tell these kids the wrong thing? You know, I don't want somebody that doesn't, you know, I'm going to have to maybe hire these people later on. I don't want somebody that's not going to know what their ass from their elbow when it comes to electronics. This person might blow up my shop. You know, that kind of thing. And the teacher, that's when the teacher explained, well, I got to do it because of the fact that I can't have them ruining the equipment and all this other. And it's like, well, why lie to them about something that's not going to do that anyway? And why not teach them how not to blow up the equipment? That would be a smarter thing. Well, that's not in the curriculum and yada yada. And it's like, geez, you're paying for this? And you're paying buku bucks for this kind of shit too. So that was some good news. As far as that goes, which, like I say, do we really need a law for this? This is literally in our Constitution. All right. I don't know if anybody has seen this, and I haven't been involved in, I've called the Jitsi, I've been on Jitsi occasionally, but I'm not long enough to hear everything everybody says. Like I said before, I'm kind of an introvert sometimes. I'll go there and I'll be sitting there and just listening and everything like that, and I'll be thinking, okay, I'm done. Let me go sleep or whatever else. But this is, they finally let the video of Paul Pelosi's arrest for his DUI. What is it now? 2 months, 3 months later now? But this just got released 2 days ago.
Before I'll let you start. You can try the test with both feet. I'll give you like a pre-trial run, for lack of a better term. You can try it with both feet, see which one you feel more comfortable with, and then once you're ready, just let me know.
This guy can hardly stand.
Are you sure you could complete the test? Okay. Because I really don't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. That's the last thing I'll... Right, but that defeats the whole purpose of the test, grabbing onto a patrol car.
Oh, May 28th. Okay. They're being awful nice to him.
You seem pretty shaky on your legs, and I don't want you to fall over. So.
Well, I'm not gonna fall over. It's a question.
Oh, we want you to do this test, but we don't want you to fall over.
Right.
You already know he's drunk.
Well, just based on what I'm seeing, I don't feel comfortable having you perform the test because I don't want you to have the potential to fall over and hurt yourself. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish. So we'll do a different test, and then I determine that they're still under the influence, and I place them under arrest. Then there's a separate chemical test that they're required to take. So it's 2 separate breath tests. Like I said, this one is voluntary. I'm requesting you do it, but like I said, you have the option.
We did only do the test.
Right.
And
But
I passed all the test.
so none of the tests are pass or fail. And a lot of people actually think that they're pass or fail, but there's not. None of the tests are pass or fail. There's just different clues that I'm trained to look for when I'm. So HEN, no LLC. Mr. Blomberg was spot on, 30 seconds. He did finger count. He performed that fine. But in terms of a one-leg stand and walk and turn, well, I didn't even have him do them just because he's constantly grabbing onto the patrol car just to be able to keep his balance.
Right.
I did see some HGN.
So yeah,
Other banks go out of their way.
You could tell he was drunker than a skunk there, and the cop was being cool with him, really. Oh, yeah, man, you can do the test and everything, but just let me know if you think you can do it, because I don't want you to fall. I don't want you to fall and break your hip. So, obviously, the guy knew he was drunk already. Excuse me. Raina, thank you so much for the library coin. Of course, don't forget the round table distraction. The round table at Raynoth's on Tuesday night and Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Another shout out and plug. In fact, I'm a part of that on the Tuesday nights. I'm usually working on Saturday nights, but I usually try to make it on the Tuesday nights. And of course, we talk about current events. We watch videos and we blind react to things and talk about stuff. We bullshit with each other. We fuck around. It's a good time. We have a lot of fun. It lasts for a really long time sometimes, but that's okay. In fact, I think Raynoth hit a record the other night with 30 hours. In fact, it blew my mind because I went to sleep early that night. I fell asleep early that night. I was really pushed, and I went to sleep actually watching them. I fell asleep watching them, and then when I woke up at like 5 the next morning, they were still going. I blew my mind, so I got on with them and bullshitted with them until I went to church. Yes, White Wings, we would be locked up right there. 2-tier justice. Like I say, this cop was being extremely cool with him. Usually cops are pretty pissed off especially about drunk drivers, mainly not because of the fact that they're drunk, but because of the fact that the propensity for them to hurt other people. Not to mention the paperwork that they hate. So yeah, They didn't do any of the tests, and then I read that they didn't do a sobriety test on him or a breathalyzer test on him until 6 hours later, and he still pegged it. It makes you wonder what this guy's been drinking. To be honest with you, though, between him and Nancy, it always looks like they're drunk. I think they drink all the time, 24/7. I think that their blood alcohol level is always high. I mean, just listen to her at some of her press conferences. In fact, I played her earlier, and she barely got through talking about that the president couldn't do this thing with the forgiveness. Limited Access says the cops knew who he was. Yeah, and the cops were handed Pelosi platinum donor card for the CHP. You think that influences the cops? Oh, of course. Of course, of course. Holly says college is a waste of time unless you're focused on a career. Yes, exactly. Like I say, if you're going to be an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer or something that actually entails that kind of education, yeah, go for it. But I really, well, I got to be honest with you. I actually learn more and do more and have learned more about the computers and doing some of the IT stuff. Of course, it continues to it continues to move and change and everything like that. But I've actually learned more about that kind of shit hanging around in the pond with like Ivan and MBB and the guys that are that are into this stuff than I ever did in college. I always had to learn all that stuff for myself, and of course, I taught myself how to do the camera, to do the videos and stuff like that. So, Lizzie Longtoe says she's been in the pond for 36 hours straight. Oh, that guy from Men in Black. White Wing says, I think they have a little blood in their alcohol system. Yes, yes. They're under the affluence of alcohol all the time. All right. I know I don't see Yvonne in the stream, but I know he would appreciate this. In fact, again, are you guys still working on the sandwich site, or is that just a joke? I'm still waiting on that. But this actually isn't wrong. But I'll talk about it afterwards. Listen to this.
Right, I really do think that women should not run societies. Yeah?
Why?
Because
return our rights, baby.
Because you want to effeminize men.
Yeah.
And you think feminine men are gonna listen. China and Russia are still around. Yeah, a bunch of feminine men running around ain't gonna be good for society, because when it's wartime, you're gonna have a bunch of pussies running around saying, "Oh my God, baby, could you go out and do the war?" No, like what the hell? You need masculine men for an actual reason. And I think when women are in charge, they use their emotions more so than they use their logic, and so they ask men to be like them. Which is why when a women generally come to men to have a conversation and say, "Oh my God, babe, do you know what happened at work today?" And a man's just like. Because you should talk to your women friends like that. I get it, right? But men do not operate the same way you operate.
How would...
There's somebody that definitely knows the difference between men and women, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Now, like I say, I know Yvonne would love to hear that. He's not in there in the chat or anything like that, but I have a tendency to agree. Besides, women can actually run more if they stand with or behind their male counterparts. Hence the cliche, behind every good man is a great woman. Have you ever seen a presidency that doesn't include his wife's accomplishments or endeavors? I haven't. So yeah, women, get smart. I think that in a lot of cases, women can actually control what's going on if they just stand behind their men. Men are always willing to please their women. That's what I've noticed anyway. Of course, I don't know how many, I don't know how many women do that kind of thing. They're all saying, oh, we don't need men, we don't need men. But I would like to see the houses that they live in, or the cars that they drive, or any of the other stuff that's been engineered by men that they can go without. Yeah, I think Pastor Shadley actually explained it the best, and this is how I've always felt about it too. We're not supposed to be in competition with each other. We're here to complement each other. It's the reason why one has an outie and one has an innie. Because, I mean, that's the way that works too. All right, make me a sandwich headshot. Yep. MBB. I've got a couple of ideas. If this actually is a thing, I'll submit some videos. I've got some scrumptious ideas for some sandwiches to make. And that's basically what the sandwich site is going to be, right? Is videos of people making sandwiches? Yeah, that's how you know. In fact, after the show, I'm going to be making sloppy dogs. Hot dogs with sloppy Joe. Instead of chili dogs with cheese. It's delicious. Is that considered a sandwich, though? Hot dogs? It's in between two pieces of bread. In fact, I'm making it tonight with pretzel bread. Sandwich videos will make Ivan happy. I know! But is he actually doing this site, or is it just a joke for his? Because he's kind of misogynistic, if you will. Oh, it's just that he's got a kink for it. Okay. But yeah, man, like I say, you girls need to realize, get yourself a man. If he's in charge of anything, you actually can have control of him. You actually can get some of the things that you want to get done without feminizing men or running on your emotions. Which, emotions are not facts. If you don't stay in reality, if you let your emotions overrule your reality, well, you see what's happening. I love how, Salty Tuna says, I love how AC gets annoyed with all the sandwich talk, ha ha ha. I think it might be because of the fact that he can't really eat sandwiches. He has, I think he only has bottom teeth. He had some, he told me about, and in fact, when I was a guest on his show, he told me about that he had a scuffle or a fight or something like that and knocked his teeth out. He's still working on getting them all back and everything like that. So he might be annoyed with the sandwich talk because he can't eat sandwiches right now. I'm Your Ninja says, wife says hot dogs are burritos. Okay. Just make us a sandwich and find out. Yep, I love to make hamburgers. I like making sandwiches. I really do like making sandwiches. Anything, any food. I'm into food. What can I tell you? I'm into food. And of course, if you meet my husband, you'll see that I've taken good care of his belly. You don't have to be hungry. Sandwichesonly.com. So is that really a thing? All right. So I'm running over just a little bit, but I'm going to show you one more thing. Oh no, I'm not. I think that was it. Was it? Oh, actually, one more thing. Any rednecks out there?
Well, evidently liberals tell me that I am politically colorblind because I can only see things through my straight white filter. Which, you know, it's a great, beautiful filter. You should check it out on Instagram. Word is on the street that we are headed for a big, big recession. I mean, all signs point to it. There really ain't no escaping it. Beta male Starbucks drinkers, they are shaking in their boots. But let me tell y'all something. The folks I talk to, they ain't too concerned. I mean, Bubba ain't waking up in the morning concerned that Biden's policies are going to be affecting deer season or the bass biting. It turns out a bass hits a worm just as hard during a recession as he does during an economic boom. He ain't jumping out of the water asking what the NASDAQ's doing. Our freezers are going to be full. And I don't know what y'all heard through the grapevine, of the blue collar grapevine anyway, but we just spent $800 billion to reduce inflation which is pretty much like asking Rosie O'Donnell to save you the last piece of pizza. It ain't gonna happen. We live by a code in the woods that surpasses all politics. We love our neighbors, we keep to ourselves, and we never ever trust a white liberal wearing flip-flops and eating kale telling us how to live our lives. The modern Democrat male is the kind of dude that orders a knife designed by Navy SEALs, but all it ever gets used for is opening a few of his wife's Amazon packages. The modern Democrat male buys a pickup truck, but all the truck bed ever gets used for is 2 bags of mulch once a month from the Lowe's Garden Center. They are not the same as us. Rednecks, we ain't quite as worried about a recession, I guess, because we all have hoarding tendencies. Nothing gets thrown out. Y'all know this. We reuse and we repurpose everything. Plus, we've been ready for the apocalypse since January 20th, 2009. Liberals are dependent because they're dependent on a system which can always crumble. We're independent because we got daddy's belt, his thick skin, and his 45. The economics just don't work no matter how bad they want it to. Watching liberals try to explain economics is just about as awkward as Deshaun Watson walking into a new massage parlor. It ain't a good idea, yet it keeps happening. Truth is, you could drop about 10,000 nuclear bombs on us right now, and the last thing on planet Earth is going to be a McDonald's, fire ants, and rednecks, because those are the hardiest elements on the planet Earth. They know that I'm speaking the truth. You step on our hose, we're just going to reroute it. You cut off our supply, we'll make our own. And if you come at us, you better bring something stronger than 87,000 IRS agents armed with vegan sandwiches and a squirt gun. Y'all liberals and big city dwellers, go ahead and figure out how to live, because when they cut your supply chain off, it's just over. But if we go through tough times, we got Jimmy Earl and cousin Ray Ray out there who know how to keep the redneck underground going 365 days a year. If it all goes to hell, your precious cities are going to have high crime, looting, starvation, blocked freeways. We're going to have a pig in the ground, some beer on ice, and all my rowdy friends are going to be coming over tonight. Appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to subscribe. These videos are a hell of a lot cheaper than therapy. Be good.
He's right. I was going to say, just all you got to do is listen to Kid Rock. He don't care. He's going to do what he's going to do. Because this is America. All right. I'm Your Ninja says, not to fearmonger, but if anyone thinks they will hunt their way through what is coming is completely wrong. Really? I mean, maybe not through, but it would help. In fact, right now, I was talking to them on Jitsi last night. Anybody that wants to come down to Texas, they're literally paying people to eliminate the wild hogs down here. And I've heard that the teenagers and the piglets are good eating. I'd fill my freezer up with one if I thought I could. Hey there. Sorry, been barefoot and busy in the kitchen. Limited access. Yes, that's our prepper and canner. In fact, if you have any questions, she will be glad to instruct you on how to preserve just about anything. I heard her talking. She was talking about chickens last week and pork this week. I didn't know you could can those things, but hey, why not? Let's see. I'll read the rest of the. Let's see. Here in YouTube. Oh, you guys are talking about limited access. Says he works and sleeps and eats, and I take care of everything else, and he trusts me to it. We work well together. Ski Man says, yes, indeed, we as men are protectors, providers, etc. Almost 24 years married. Congratulations. September will be 37 years for limited access and her husband. Congratulations. That's awesome. Very, very, very rare that anybody stays together longer than a night anymore. So that's something that needs to change too, or else we are all doomed. Okay. I'm not sure who's coming on now. Like I said, the Drunken Rocky show is tomorrow night due to company and whatever he's doing. Well, thank you, some guy from Maine. It's not my birthday until December, but okay. I appreciate the library coin. Thank you so very much. I can everything: butter, milk, rice, Rebel canner. Yes. I really would like to see how you can meat, or do you like jerky it? Because I mean, I know you can can it then and preserve it then. You guys. All right. But yeah, if you guys want to come down and make some money killing some pigs, they're begging people to come down here and take care of this wild boar population down here, because they're literally infiltrating the neighborhoods, even gated communities. And they not only do they tear up the ground and everything like that, but they're very dangerous. They actually, the adults are like bulls, and they will go after a human, and they are able to kill humans quite readily and fast as far as that goes. So happy pre-anniversary to you, Ski Man, and everybody that's having anniversaries or birthdays or anything like that. I'm going to go fix some dinner, of course, after the show. My old man's probably hungry by now. But after that, you'll probably see me in Pastor Chatelet's chats while I'm downloading this, so that I can upload it to the other channels. But all good things must come to an end, but of course that doesn't mean forever. I'm here every Thursday night. Don't forget to support the show. Share, share, share. Thank you so much for everybody being here tonight. The super chats, the library coin, the phone calls, the support. Appreciate it. In fact, I'm noticing I'm growing a little bit here over on YouTube. You're welcome, Ski Man. Appreciate you all. And again, I appreciate the pond. If you want to know what I'm talking about, make sure you head over to Pastor Chatelet Kekistan on Odysee. It's a good time, lots of fun, lots of learning, lots of praising the Lord, which is what we should be doing. And of course, we're fighting against the system as well, which is pretty much run by Satan, if you will, or Satanistic entities. So you guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much for the love. Thank you all for being here, for sharing, and all of that good stuff there, like that there. And we will see you. I'm going to work on a video, of course, for Red Dawn Radio. I think that I'm going to call in Vincenzo Marinera. I think that's a job for him. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, and I'll win that hoodie. If not, it'll have still been fun, and you guys should get a laugh out of it. I hope. Sometimes what's funny to me isn't funny to other people, but then again, I have a very simple sense of humor. I even like fart jokes. So, you guys, until next time, AMF.